Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome to season number 12 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge on Apex Racing TV, where the best virtual GTP, LMP2, and GT3 racers in the world do battle. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth as always is Larry Lefty McLeod, and this week we've got a special guest. Well, he's behind the scenes. It's Josh Wilkie filling in for Jonathan Grabowski this week. He's going to be bringing you all the great views of tonight's 75-minute run to the checkered flag. And so tonight it's round number 4, and before you lies the Temple of Speed. Far more quickly than the Vatican was built, the Autodromo Nazionale Monza was erected just north of Milan in 1922, making it the world's third purpose-built motor racing circuit after Brooklyn's and Indianapolis. Featuring just 6 corner complexes over 3.5 miles, 3.6, and 11 turns, it's the speed, it's the running of low downforce setups to maximize that speed, all combined with tight chicanes designed to mitigate that speed, and a general lack of runoff when you exceed that speed that will challenge our racers here tonight. So, Larry, welcome to the Temple, and of course, Mercury, the Roman god of speed, has been waiting for your arrival.
I'm glad we've arrived. I've enjoyed several espressos today, so I am ready to rock and roll here in Italy. I think this is going to be a great night. This is just one of those legendary circuits. Everyone loves to race here. It does race really, really well, and I think it's going to be a wonderful night for 75 minutes of World Challenge excitement.
All right, well, Sabrina, let's take a look here as we've got our racers out for their 15-minute qualifying. And as we always do here in the World Challenge, we give our racers 4 attempts, 4 flying laps over the course of 15 minutes in which to set their fastest lap times and set the grid for this evening's 75-minute race. And just so you can see our racers and how you can tell them apart out on track right now, we're watching Leo Dragota getting a little weave on. And if you take a look at Leo's car here, you will notice that it has, actually I think it's got the wrong paints, but if it had the correct paints, it would have red number boards, red mirrors, red windshield banners, and end plates on the wings that denote our GT4 cars. And then our LMP2 cars, because we've got 2 different prototype classes. The LMP2 cars, they will have blue number boards, blue windshield banners, and end plates on the wings. And our GTP cars, they'll have black number boards, etc. And we'll catch up with them in just a little bit here as we get our paints loaded in. And I think we may be there already. So there you go. There is Chris Hampton, one of our LMP2 racers, and you can see those blue mirrors and number boards and the windshield banner as well. Let's jump back over to GTP real quick so that we can pick out one of our GTP racers. Let's see, maybe Dave Meneno in the 103. There we go, Dave Meneno in the SRT Esport Cadillac. And you can pick out those the GTP cars because they've got the black number boards, windshield banners, and mirrors as well. Beautiful, beautiful livery there, Larry. As already, I think with just 5 minutes remaining in qualifying, looks as though we've got all of our GTP racers that have put in qualifying times, with the exception, it looks like Meneno just finished up his 4th flying lap. John Sterling out on track. He's completed his 4th flying lap as well, as he is taking a cool down lap. But, you know, with 5 minutes to go, we still have some of our GT3 racers out on track, trying to get their last and fastest laps in. But we've got a pre-race interview guest here today, and it is Chuck Labano, driver of the number 346 Frito Sport GT3 Corvette. Why don't we bring in old Chuck?
All right, joining us here pre-race, we've got Chuck Labano in the house. And Chuck, are you ready for a little bit of Italian excitement tonight? Chuck.
Apparently he's not ready for us, Larry. I'll tell you what, let's I think there he is. He's working on his mic. Excellent.
There he is.
There
Chuck.
it is.
All right, so
Way down the order to see me here, so that tells you how prepared I am for tonight.
Well, you've at least got a lap of qualifying in, so that steps at least to where, you know, whether it's the lap you wanted or not, I'll leave that for you. But how are you feeling about generally here at Monza? How are you feeling about your night ahead of you tonight?
Well, if I survive, I'm going to call it a win. I didn't have a lot of time here, so you can see by my lap time it's been a struggle, and of course I don't do well on qualifying, but the bonus is I tend to always move forward. So as long as I can avoid the wrecks, I should finish further ahead. I mean, you can't finish much further behind. So.
Well, I mean, this is it's been one heck of a season. We're coming up to this halfway point now. Is Monza in the list of all the tracks we run here in this series? Is Monza on your list of favorites, or is it a little further down?
No, I find it a little boring, and not just because I suck at it. It's just the long stretches. I need action, right? I need to be paying attention. I need the constant, struggle of, am I going to make this turn over the hill and whatnot. These straightaways, I can easily get distracted, and it'll cause me to lose my braking zones, and that's where I kind of fail at these tracks.
Yeah, it is definitely one of those but it also could be a place where just survive in advance, so to speak. So who knows? Could be one of those nights for you. We'll try to remain optimistic here. So
yeah.
But so I guess looking forward, it sounds like not to look too far ahead, but I think the next time we are going to see it in 2 weeks, it's apparently Le Mans and it may be wet. Are you already thinking that far ahead? Is that something you're excited about, or are you dreading?
Well, the great thing about the rain is that I hate it. So just like in real life. You know, they nailed it. I get the hot sweats and the cold sweats, and start shaking a little bit and wondering where my traction is. But yeah, they kind of nailed it. I can play it safe, which is what I normally do, and as long as everyone else screws up, I should keep moving forward.
Yeah, it could be that kind of it, but we still have tonight to do what we need to do. But while I got you here pre-race, I was going to ask, I ask a lot of folks here pre-race interviews, what do you do for a living or for fun outside of Monday nights on Ricmotech?
Well, fortunately, iRacing has a million leagues, so it's pretty much 4 days a week league, and then when I'm not doing leagues, I'm practicing for league, and then occasionally I get to play a little Diablo.
Okay, well that's good. That's a busy lifestyle.
That's pretty busy. My nights are pretty much taken.
Sounds like a lot of good time. So we've got just about a minute left here. Anybody you wanted to give a mention to while you had the chance here before we get started tonight?
Just Frito Sport, my team. You guys do a great job. You guys always get the accolades. Frito Sport, you know, Edgar runs a good team. Greg and Matt are great with the setups, and Tom is my flashy paint guy. So we do a really good job, you know, helping each other out. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I absolutely picked up the pace over the last couple of seasons. So yeah, I am getting better, and it's because of them. It's absolutely because of them.
Yeah, well, it's always good to have a good team around you, and you guys are definitely doing that. So good luck tonight, and who knows, maybe we'll get a chance to talk to you when it's all over.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. Chuck Labano, driver of the Frito Sport Chevrolet Corvette. And Larry, we've got to talk about perfect timing. Maybe not perfect for Chuck because he is currently qualified, I think, 26th in GT3, but it was just as qualifying was wrapping up. And so our racers should be heading to the grid here momentarily. Why don't you take the two prototype classes and I'll run down the GT3s if you'd like.
Yep, sounds great. All right, so from the lead here, will be leading us down that straightaway the first time on the pole, Daily Petrowski from Invictus Temerario Corsa. He'll be alongside DNA Motorsports' Tanner Dibble. Row 2, it's going to be another DNA entry on the inside. This is Ben Rose. Alongside him will be SRT Esports' Dave Menino. On the third row, it's going to be Jordan Butler, the third of our DNA entries, alongside the fourth of those such entries, Ryan Reisman. On row 4, it's going to be John Sterling representing the Eagle Beavers on the inside, with Charlie Osea from the Rockefeller Racing GTP on the outside. And then finally, we have Aaron Beaver on row 5 from the Invictus Temerario Corsa. Perfect name for a track like this. All right, turning to our LMP2s, you've got our pole sitter, Josh Chinsky, SRT Esport. He'll be alongside of the front row, Caleb Lehman, also from SRT. On row 2, it's going to be HSR Phantom Racing's Trevor Anderson, and he'll be alongside Carson Cushman from Purple Sector Motorsport. Row 3 in the LMP2 is Avon Dorsey from Rockefeller Racing LMP2, alongside Chase West from Lead Paw Racing, and then finally Kyle Strikers from SRT Esports on the inside, and Chris Hampton from Lead Paw Racing on the outside.
All right, let's move over to the GT3s, Larry, where we've got our previous round's pole sitter. On the pole here tonight, that is Mike Dam from Orion Racing with Taj Edwards, who will be to his left. Then we got Leo Dragotta and Jennifer McDonald making up row number 2. So we've got Orion 1, 2, and 3, and a Chevy Corvette starting 4th. Zach Mosley will start 5th alongside Ilya Speaker in his McLaren. Then Keith Stein and Travis Schwenke making up row number 4. Radburn Shutters will start 9th tonight in his Chevrolet Corvette with Chris Thorman in the Invictus Ferrari starting in 10th. Alex Brown will be in that Eagle Beaver Chevrolet Corvette. He starts 11th with Dan Carrillo starting in 12th. Filippo Barberi will start 13th. David Payton for Invictus will start 14th. Robert Hartley will start 15th tonight with Jeff Jacobs on the outside of row number 8, with Stacy Bertrand and Andre Wedderburn making up row number 9, starting 17th and 18th. Then we've got Adam Ballard and Chad Sebring. They will be starting 19th and 20th this evening, with Jim Pfeiffer and Neil Weston 21st and 22nd. John Casey and Brandon Guillot then will make up the next row, along with Stephen May and Russ Ruddick. And then finally, Chuck Labano and Greg Brockway will round out your 28-car GT3 field.
big field tonight. 45 cars on the entry list. This is going to be massive. This is really the way sports car racing was meant to be. We've got a lot of battles. We'll get to those as we unfold tonight. But it's everything from the LMP2s, the GTPs, all in contention. The GT3s as well. This could be exciting. Could be a changer in the point series for sure.
Yeah, indeed, Larry. And so I mentioned in GT3 how Mike Dam started on the pole at our previous round at Motegi. He actually finished 4th with teammate Akira Iwata taking the win, although Iwata not here this evening in the field. So we'll have to see. It was actually an Orion Racing top 6 2 weeks ago at Motegi. I'm sure they're looking for a similar showing here tonight as the field comes down onto the front straight, and green flag is in the air for our GTP racers, Larry, and we are underway here from the Temple of Speed Monza as our racers make their way down to the first chicane. Tanner Dibble, he's got the advantage. Dave Meneno and Bailey Petrowski side by side, though. Meneno gets a slight advantage going into the first chicane, and he's able to hold off Petrowski. Slotting in behind Petrowski, Ben Rose, our winner from 2 weeks ago with Ryan Reisman, Jordan Butler, and Charlie Hosea as our LMP2 racers now get the green flag on the front straight. Let's move over to that start if we can.
Yep, there we go. There's Josh, and he's leading the way as they go through the first chicane right now. He is our points leader. Caleb Lehman, also Trevor Anderson in that mix there, has moved to the start of the GT3 field, and it's a whole bunch of those Acuras up front. A little bit dicey at the back. But
yeah, a little more crowded there in the first chicane, Larry.
Sure.
As they make their way out, Taj Edwards gets around Mike Dam, as does Jennifer McDonald as she moves the BTL Chevy Corvette now up in the 2nd position, dropping Mike Dam back in the 3rd. Dam having to hold off Ilya Speaker with Leo Dragota, Travis Schwenke there running 5th and 6th. And then we've got Chris Thorman in the Ferrari.
In the background, coming out of the first chicane, a couple off into the dirt. Maybe Alex Brown perhaps shuffled back in there.
Yeah, I think that might be possibly Adam Ballard that may have gone off over there. We'll try and get the numbers. There's the 29 machine just now getting back, and that is indeed Adam Ballard in his Chevrolet Corvette as he gets back underway.
All right, so already starting the second lap here is the LMPs, or sorry, the GTPs. They're so fast I forgot what the name of the class was, as it is still Dibble leading the way with Reisman now slotting into the 4th and 5th spot there. I guess he's in the 6th now with Dibble, Meneno, Petrowski, and then Rose, your points leader, currently in 4th. So Rose and Petrowski, a couple points between them. Currently 3rd and 4th as Dibble and Meneno off to that really strong start.
All right, so Chinsky now in the pits, Larry. And big surprise there for him. Of course, Chinsky right up at the top of the championship points now in LMP2 as he goes to the pits. He finished 2nd 2 weeks ago at Motegi to Caleb Lehman, but I'm sure that this is not the way he expected this race to start here as we follow our racers now here. And trying to get these paints squared away for you. Hopefully we'll get that all squared away in a second for you. We apologize for that, but you can see here this great LMP2 battle with Caleb Lehman sitting in 2nd to, and maybe this is a little bit of a surprise, Larry, with Trevor Anderson in the 98 machine, currently your leader. Then with Avon Dorsey running in 3rd, but again, big shakeup there with Chinsky having to take to the pit lane.
Yeah, Trevor's had a couple of good finishes, podiums at the Sebring opening round as well as the last time out at Motegi. But yeah, good to see him up front here. He needs that. But really, this season has been a couple of different winners. You had Caleb Lehman won this class one time. Josh Chinsky had another win. Caleb actually had 2 wins in the group here, but it's been kind of a little bit of a Chinsky and Lehman battle. So now with Chinsky out early, opportunities may be there for Trevor or even Avon Dorsey to come up and steal some points.
All right, as we jump back over to our GTP battle here, Larry, look at this side by side. We've got the Ferrari of Chris Thorman. We've got the Acura of Leo Dragota side by side, and they've got Zach Mosley in that big old Mustang sitting right there as well as they fan out and start to come down the front straight. Now, you know, we talked about the Acuras and the Orion Acuras in particular, finishing the top. Oh, Larry, with the Mustang there, again, that Zach Mosley off into the wall there before they get into the first chicane.
Yeah.
That was a massive, massive hit.
Yeah, so that seemed pretty early to be maybe have been break-in zone. Let's see what the replay shows us here. So you see Mosley right in between a couple. He's jostling for position, trying to get to a break-in zone. Hadn't even gotten there yet, but I don't think that little bit of daylight was enough to do anything with. Here we go on board, another replay. You can see him moves right. I don't think he realized that he had on his right, I didn't see who that was, but he did have a car just off his right rear. That may have been the nature of that spin. Yeah, there were two other cars that had followed Dragota as well as Thorman onto the front straight out of the parabolic. Out of the parabolic. The stewards are looking at an incident, as they're saying, between Dragota and Mosley. So we'll let them review what they're going to, and but that's the car, at least, that stewards are claiming may have been involved in that contact.
All right, so we will see there. So what I was getting ready to say, Larry, is 2 weeks ago at Motegi, we had the Orion Acuras finish in the top 6 positions, and so for this round, we have implemented a balance of performance on the Acura, on the NSX in particular, where it gets docked half a percentage of horsepower. So it's running at 99.5% total power, and in addition to that, it has a 6 kilogram weight penalty as well.
Well, that may just be enough to level the playing field a little bit, as we're now seeing the Corvette piloted by Jennifer McDonald up there in the top 3. We saw her with a great start, was in second for a little bit, and then Ilya Speaker could start there in the McLaren, running up at the top 5. That was something, as you said, we didn't see at all at Motegi 2 weeks ago. It was dominant for that.
Well, Speaker was actually very strong in that McLaren early on in the race, and then he had fallen back. And I mean, it's hard when you're surrounded by 6 teammates to make any kind of headway there. Like the NSX getting some balance performance updates, we also have some on the GTP side as well, Larry. So iRacing had implemented its own balance of performance going into our last round at Motegi, as we just had, I think, was that, trying to see who that was. That might have been Leo Dragota, possibly, that had gone off. And so in addition to that balance of performance, again, in order to equalize things a little bit, and primarily, I think here, Larry, to give a little bit of help to the Porsche 963 GTP car, we've seen where the BMW and the Ferrari took a half a percentage horsepower cut, and I believe that was all that was done for those two chassis. But the Acura ARX06, which again had a half percentage horsepower cut implemented by iRacing itself, it has now been changed to 2% cut total. So it's running at 98% horsepower. In addition to that, it also has a 6 kilogram weight penalty.
Okay, well, could definitely have some changes here, so we'll keep our eyes on that. As already there's some mixing of classes. We've got the GTPs making their way through the GT3 field early on. As I saw Bailey Petrowski go on through, of course, Dibble, and then Rose right in the middle of it as well. As we're keeping an eye here on Keith Stein, with Rockefeller Racing entries in that Corvette. And Scott right behind him. One of our GTPs coming blazing through there. I want to say maybe that was Minetto.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think that was Dave
Jordan
Minetto.
Butler then, chasing him down as well.
Yep. Should note, Larry, that Josh Chinsky back out on track and starting to make his way through the field. I mean, as well as he can make his way through with almost 30 GT3 cars that he's got to contend with, and of course he's already a couple of laps down now. But we will track him. He is currently sitting, just got around Russ Ruddock, got Stephen May coming up. Of course, he's lapping at a good 10 seconds faster than the GT3 cars ahead of him. But he is at this point, I think, down. He's only down 1 lap at this point. So maybe it was a question that he went out on, because I didn't see him go off track. Maybe it was just a question that he actually went out on the qualifying fill of gas and didn't have a full tank on him.
Perhaps, yeah. Well, quick update on the Zach Mosley contact with Leo Jagoda. The stewards ruled that there was no action further on that one, so we'll let that one go. Zach, however, has ended his night. We'll see him in 2 weeks at Le Mans.
It sounds as though Race Control still has a number of different incidents that are under review, Larry, so we'll keep you apprised as they come in. There's a great battle here right now. This is the battle for third in LMP2 with Avon Dorsey and Carson Cushman.
Look at that. That is a beautiful side-by-side right there. That's a tough place. That first chicane here is so tight. Really difficult to go side-by-side, but look at these two. Respectful Racing doing it here. A little bit of draft now as they go around that long sweeper there. The Curva Grande, and then they go through the second chicane. It's a good little fight now between them as they come through some GT3 traffic ahead.
Yeah, and Larry, not that far ahead right now is Trevor Anderson. I think we just saw the 98 machine just ahead. Oh, no. I'm sorry. That is the 98. He's about 20, 25 car lengths up ahead of this duo here, but all in very close proximity because Kyle Stryker's, it's Dorsey, it's Cushman. As they went side by side through the first chicane, that allowed Kyle Stryker's to make up, oh gosh, probably around 10, 15 car lengths. He's right there in that battle for third as well.
There's Anderson. Remember, he led this thing early on, but Caleb Lehman's got that lead back now up to about 2 seconds here in the LMP2 class. And if Caleb Lehman can collect some good points tonight, that's exactly what he needs. Again, he's got wins. He's got wins at Sebring, wins, of course, at Motegi 2 weeks ago, but he's got that 10th place from Watkins Glen that he's looking to get off of his scores. And a good result here to go a long way in the battle that he's got with Josh Shinsky, who, as we know, has already had some issues tonight.
All right, so a number of the racers that had come down the pit lane, Larry, to take on some service after some early incidents. Chad Sebring, Chuck Labano, they are back out on track. We do have Greg Brockway in the pits. Currently, he's been taking repairs now for about 4.5 minutes. As I fear that he was one of the drivers that was involved in that early lap 1 incident. All right, there's a penalty that's just come in, Larry. The 97 machine getting a drive-through penalty.
Sure. Who's a contact with Wiz? I didn't see that.
Got it. The 18 car and the 19 car.
Well, Josh Chinsky was the 18.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe it wasn't the fuel incident there, Larry, and that you actually had to go in and take repairs. So there you go. So the 97 of Aaron Beaver getting the penalty. He's going to have to bring the car down the pit lane. Interesting that was so early on, Larry, and it was a GTP car, the Ferrari of Beaver, along with an LMP2 car that had started so much further back in the field.
Yeah, all right, well, let's watch this little battle going on here. This is Kyle Stryker's Chase West. And I think then right there in front of him should be Avon Dorsey. This is the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th in LMP2. And these guys went all the way down to that first turn chicane. nearly 3 wide, decided to go back single file, but it's getting pretty hot and heavy here in LMP2 here, this battle for 4th. Carson Cushman's not too far ahead of them if they can stay sorted for just a little bit. Carson's just about 2 seconds up the road there.
All right, Larry, another penalty coming in. The driver of the number 100 machine getting a drive-through penalty.
Charlie Hosea.
That's Charlie Hosea, who's in the pits right now. Looks like taking service. He had a little coming together with the 64 car. That's David Payton. And Payton, I think, may have already called it an evening.
Sipping a little bit of Italian wine by this hour, I think.
Yes. Speaking of which, where's Bobby Childs?
He's watching the broadcast, I can tell you that. I don't know if wine's his beverage of choice. Maybe it is. He is part of the Invictus Temerario Borsa team, so I do assume he likes some Italian beverages.
All right, we're watching right now. This is the coming through here. That is John Casey driving the number 78 Freedom Sport Corvette, and trying to make up a little bit of ground on Stephen May's McLaren just ahead. And that Corvette's actually carrying a good amount of pace on the front straight there.
Yeah, it sure is. See what kind of run he can get here through the first chicane. Trying to cut into that pair in front of him.
And right ahead of Casey and May, Jim Pfeiffer and Neil Weston.
Yep.
Pfeiffer in the Ferrari, Weston in the Porsche. That is the battle right now for 16th in Pro. And, you know, Larry, I'm a little surprised because just a little bit further up the road from these two racers, and he's about 3 seconds up, is Robert Hartley, who started the night 16th. And that, I mean, that's as big a surprise, I think, to begin with. But he hasn't really made a lot of headway. You know, we see him here. He's got the Ferrari of Guillaume, Jeff Jacobs, Stacy Bertrand just ahead, but he's made up a single position since the start of this race. And Hartley finished it. He was the 6th of the 6 Orion racers at Motegi. So yeah, maybe this balance of performance adjustment on the Acura is having the intended effect.
It may have,
or
but still,
beyond the intended effect.
Yeah, but it's still the Orion team brings some heavy hitters, regardless of how much BOP you throw at them. Both Taj Edwards, Mike Dam seem to still be able to set the stage there, but seems the rest of the field is keeping a little bit more interesting. Just checking the chat, some guy named Grabowski asking about Bobby's evening. I'm sure it must be one of the new viewers.
Yeah, I don't know where we find these people. It's like Stubby's a legitimate cousin or something. And
all right, as we can look out the back of Jeff Jacobs here, as he's got a couple of our GTPs going blazing on by. One of them, I think, may have been Jordan Butler. Of course, there's Tanner Dibble, your race leader to the point right now. About 3 seconds or so ahead of Billy Petrowski. There's Butler. The battle there with Dave Manetto for 4th. And look at the traffic in front of them, though. Not much room. They're going to go 3 wide to the GT3s in front of them.
Oh,
going to have
they
to go
come
to the
down
inside.
to the Lesmos.
Is that contact? It was.
Yes, it was.
Gonna send one of the GT3s running wide. Let's get back and see who that was. But Butler continues.
I think that might have been. I think that might have been Hartley that ran wide. I think that might have been the. No. Let's see.
Was it Hartley or was it the Ferrari? That's the Ferrari, actually.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's the 43 car.
Yeah, Guillaume is the one that took the brunt of that one. Hartley's in the mix there, as is Jeff Jacobs. But we'll see if the stewards take a look at that one shortly. Let's check in with Billy Petrowski with Ben Rose. This is the points battle we've been waiting to see. Rose with the draft down this long front straightaway. Look at the little fake move to the left. He goes to the right. Is he going to try a braking contest into one? It's It's 18 minutes into a 75-minute race, and we are side by side.
And he is alongside, and he gets the pass done, Larry.
He does. Neither gets a great exit from the first chicane, so here we go. And then they'll be chasing a couple of fast drivers as they go around the Curva Grande. They'll be chasing a couple of GT3s. I think that was Leo Dragota, if I got that right. And Keith Stein,
yeah,
probably.
I think you're right. I think we had Dragota, and then we also had Keith Stein in the Corvette directly ahead.
Here's Chris Thorman, Ilya Speaker. Speaker may have no choice but to break this up a little bit. He's got to run his line through the Lesmos. A couple more having to kind of dodge here. There's Travis Schwenke in fourth, Jennifer McDonald currently running in third in GT3 Pro. They're in their own little battle, just trying to avoid what's coming up behind them. And the closing speeds, the GTPs, even on a GT3, is astounding.
Well, you know, Larry, we're talking about over 15 seconds per lap faster at a track like Monza, where every one of these cars is, for the most part, running probably around 80% of the lap at full throttle, give or take. And,
you know, in the slow chicanes, the GTPs aren't that much faster, but it's these faster corners. It's coming out of the second Lesmo. It's the Curva Grande. It's this Parabolica right here. That's where the GTPs are really going to shine, and the closing speeds just get worse from there. But pretty wild to watch and see this happen as we get an eye on Chris Thorman there, one of the Invictus cars in that battle right in front of the Ilya Speaker. I think they're battling for fifth in GT3 Pro. GT3 Pro.
All right, as we jump over and back to GTP, where we've got Jordan Butler and Dave Manetto, and Larry, whereas we saw the two GTP cars earlier navigate the first chicane. That one, we saw Jordan Butler. He checked out of that fight pretty early.
He did. Now he's going to get to serve about a 1.5 or 2 second slowdown penalty, which, if you're not familiar with iRacing, the sim itself says you went off track and cut a corner. You now have to serve it. You do serve it live. It is, you basically just have to lift for quite a while and serve it a 2 second countdown. If you fail to serve it, it'll just give you ultimately a deadline and black flag you. But I'm guessing at this point, Jordan Butler has served it. As we go on board here and watch a bit of a replay of that battle. So here's Butler again with Manetto. Butler goes left, Manetto goes right into the braking zone, and Butler realizes about here he's not going to make that turn.
He's not going to do it.
And goes right across the curbing.
He didn't get on the binders in enough time, Larry. That there was no way that he was going to be able to go side by side with Manetto.
Smart move there to be able to bail out though instead of causing any sort of major incident. And look at this, he's already right up to the back of Manetto.
Right,
yeah, as they come on down the straightaway out of the Ascari chicane down towards Parabolica. Sorry, for Bobby's sake, I should be pronouncing all the names of the corners in the full Italian accent. Variante Ascari.
Ascari. And actually, Larry, the Parabolica now was renamed the Alboreto Curve or Corner, I think, a couple of years ago. Of course, after famed F1 driver Michele Alboreto, but
I just insulted like the entire country that
I know.
Me trying to do an accent like that, and I apologize. It is all Bobby Child's fault.
Yeah.
I'll throw him under that.
Do not take any responsibility for anything that we say here tonight.
All right, let's check in with some battles in GT3. Keith Stein, look at the side-by-side there with, I think that's with Chris Thorman and Leo Dragota. Leo in the Acura trying to get past these. Remember, he had qualified up in fourth. He's down running in eighth right now, so not where Leo wants to be. It's just a tough place sometimes if you can't get a good run of the draft to get on by. But looking at Leo in the points coming into tonight, he after a rough outing at Sebrings, had a couple of second places to back that up. So he's looking to get to drop point of the season, but sitting here in eighth is not going to be really good for him. He'd like to get up into the top four because it's going to be one of those seasons. Of course, who's not here tonight, we haven't really talked about that, is Akira Iwata, your points leader, came in winning everything so far, has taken the night off.
Hey, Josh, can you throw up the GT3 points by chance? Or GT3 Pro, I guess. If we have it listed as GT3 Pro, that would be fine. Yeah, let's do Pro.
Big on the brakes there. Leo Dragota still trying to get by. I don't know if there was any kind of contact there, but he certainly is trying to get his way through.
All right, so there we go. There are points in GT3 Pro. And this is now with Larry. We start, because we're at round 4, we're starting to count count drops at this point. So we are showing Akira Iwata, who came into the evening as your points leader at 199 points. Taj Edwards, who is your current GT3 leader in tonight's race, second. They're just 24 points back. And then Mike Dam at 168 points. Jennifer McDonald, you know, she's had a good run so far this season, Larry, in that BTL Motorsports Chevy Corvette at 143 points, and currently she's sitting third in the race tonight. So looking for another good points haul, maybe to separate herself from Travis Schwenke, who's sitting not only fourth in the championship, only 3 points back, tied with Alex Brown, but also fourth in tonight's race.
Travis Schwenke is another one that would like to get to the drop point here. That right there, also what you're seeing on screen, it reflects a 21st place at Watkins Glen a month ago.
Yeah.
He would like to get that one off the resume, so to speak.
Yes.
Sitting fourth tonight would be a nice replacement for that. So keep your eye on Schwenke, Leo Dragotta, some of these guys that need drops to move up. What you're seeing there with like Jennifer in fourth place, she's been very consistent. She's been top 10s a couple of times, and here she is running up in fourth right now tonight. So I think this is good for her to be consistent, but watch for those guys down below who've got some good results, just needing to drop the drop, so to speak.
All right, and Larry, some guy named Backmarker Bob, who we know is Bobby Childs, says he's just sick this evening. So,
well, Bobby, hope you feel better.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, there's only so much chicken soup you can have to save mental illness. But as we're watching here, Jennifer McDonald, she is getting a little bit of pressure from Travis Schwenke. So again, you know, this is third and fourth in the championship at this point. Third and fourth on track as well.
She's gonna see what she can do and keep this Corvette on pace for a top 5. Travis Schwenke, though, he's always a tough contender there behind her in that Orion Acura. Travis pretty consistent so far tonight. We'll see if he has an opportunity to make his move. Don't forget, we are going to have pit stops tonight. This is our 75-minute format, so at some point that will come into play. Well, not quite to that stage yet, although it looks like, I'm sorry, Brandon Guillot may be in the pits now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like Guillot took to the pits. As we jump back over to our LMP2 race, Larry, here for second between Carson Cushman and Trevor Anderson. When we talk about the pit stops, once again, it's going to be a bit of a crapshoot for our LMP2 racers because of the fuel situation on these cars. We know that they can do somewhere around 22 laps, which, given that this race should probably end up being about 46 laps, might be a bit. It's going to require a little bit of fuel savings once again.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a struggle there, so we'll keep our eyes on that as we progress through tonight. So we got a shot there of your second place runner right now, Carson Cushman, running pretty well here. As it looks like Trevor Anderson had a good start. He's dropped to third now, right behind Cushman. Lehman, though, really has taken the stranglehold of this race in the LMP2s, up by almost 8 seconds on the rest of the field. Been an incident before we caught that on camera. We'll take a look at that as we, speaking of incidents, there's Ben Rose again. Look at this. He was in that fight with Petrowski. We'll have to see what happened to him. We'll catch a replay in a minute.
Yeah, and Petrowski now 4 seconds up the road, so certainly an issue there for Ben Rose. It looks like he's slowing down good, too, Larry. That's not good at all.
No, so here they are coming up to the Variante Ascari. We're on board with Ben Rose. And he just has an issue there. I wonder if it's a sim issue or something where his brakes just did not work at all.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell if that was all a braking issue. He didn't. And take a look at this, Larry. Certainly as he went off, as the steering wheel is cocked over to the right.
Oh, wow, yeah. I do wonder if he's got an issue with his sim system because all of a sudden his steering is out of sync, his pedals may not be working, and he's in the pits, probably trying to restart his wheel and pedals.
All of his equipment, yeah.
That's unfortunate because, again, he came into tonight in the points lead, had a great run 2 weeks ago. To take that win and was in that big fight with Bailey Petrowski. So keep
Well,
your eyes on
let's
him.
jump back here, Larry, as we look at Rose again. And there is the reason
been
that
the issue.
he had issues with the front of the car.
Yeah, that would definitely do it. So the quick sim thought that was a repair, but clearly that car is not repaired, and that's where Ben is now coming out of that second Lesmos. I was trying to see who that was that he tangled with. One of the GT3s came across and just
It was one of the McLarens, it looks like, Larry, and judging by the
Wedderburn?
paint, I was just going to say, judging by the paint job, I think it was Andre Wedderburn, and
Also
Wedderburn is now on the pit lane as well.
He's been in the pits for about a minute and a half, which is just about as long as Ben Rose has been in there.
Yeah,
so
that would sink.
that's unfortunate. Yeah, here you go. This will confirm it. This is on board with Wedderburn going through that corner, and I think he just misjudges. He expected maybe to get across the track and let the GTP go left. Shows you the closing speed of GTP.
Well, he also he dropped the wheel on exit there, Larry, and I'm wondering if he just didn't overcorrect and come back across, which Rose wasn't expecting.
Yeah, so the stewards did look at it already, and they've ruled no action. I think maybe the closing speed difference, and I think they felt that Wedderburn was trying to get out of the way, but perhaps the drag of the tire and the gravel hurt his seat. There was nothing else that he could have done. Both drivers certainly take a bit of a hit there. So unfortunately for Ben Rose, again, points leader coming into tonight, this is going to hurt his chances. Big night now for Dibble, Petrowski, and the others to try and pull up alongside of him.
All right, and Larry, let's quickly take a look at the point standings in GTP, as long as kind of a brief moment here with, as you mentioned, Ben Rose, who was our winner 2 weeks ago at Motegi, sitting at the top of the leaderboard for DNA Motorsports. And he's got 189 points, only 5 points clear coming into the evening of Bailey Petrowski. And so this incident going to certainly upset the apple cart. Dave Meneno, who is currently running in 4th position tonight behind Jordan Butler. He is only a single point back from Petrowski for SRT Esport at the moment, then Butler sitting just 4 points back from there. So really tight running in GTP coming into round number 4.
Yeah, when you see 10 points separating your top 4, and now that top position is out. The next 3 were separated by 5 points. Meneno had that win at Watkins Glen, the very memorable pass that he had going down the back straight towards the bus stop, and he got a win that night. Of course, Ben Rose got his last week. Jordan Butler won the opening round at Sebring. Petrowski's been second place a couple of times. These guys are just fighting for every little bit of point scrap they can come up with. That's a tough night to take basically a DNF here, potentially for Ben Rose. Huge opportunity, especially for maybe a Tanner Dibble, who hasn't had that big finish yet. This is a night that he can use if he can hang on for the next 45 minutes.
All right, and I was going to take a look here for a moment and check in with Josh Chinsky, Larry. I thought it might be a good idea to check in here. Josh Chinsky now on the same lap as Chris Hampton, running in 8th position in LMP2. Both he and Hampton currently a lap, actually about a half lap down from Lehman and Cushman, who are leading LMP2. And lapping around the same time, Chinsky about 0.8 of a second faster than Lehman and Cushman at the moment. So we'll see if he can make his way back up through the field.
It's certainly a tall order for him, but he's got the pace to be able to pull off some amazing things. We've seen that in the past, having come into tonight, I believe, in the points lead there in the LMP2. And, he's usually very dominant, but we know his teammates especially are very tough competitors in that LMP2 field, and the SRT Esport really brings a strong contingent. That's where Caleb is usually his chief rival there, having taken the win at the Glen a couple of weeks back. But tough night start here for Josh, but anybody can pull this off and get back up into some strong points results. It is Josh Jensen.
It is him.
catching a little bit of the gravel on the exit of the Lesmos. He's doing everything he can to run basically qualifying laps over and over again here. 20th qualifying lap essentially at this pace. Teammates, Kyle Strikers.
Looks like Striker's having a little bit of an issue there as he came through the first Lesmos, also very much like we saw earlier from Wedderburn.
Trying to chase down Avon Dorsey there. Should be one of the Rockefeller Racing LMP2s.
The way that car slid through Variante Ascari, Larry. Oh my gosh! I mean, it looked as though, well, heck, it looked like a front-wheel drive car. The way the rear end was just swinging out from side to side like a pendulum.
So I've got a few laps in the sim in these LMP2s, and every setup, no matter whether it feels right or not, always has a pretty big push to it at times. The way you got to move these things around, they're relatively long wheelbase. You do have to dance them in a way a little like a front drive. You got to get the back end to kind of swing and then power through the corner. And I think what you saw there from Strikers was exactly that. That's kind of how you have to drive these things. You have to get moving a little bit, and it seems to work there. There's Chase West there in another one of the LMP2s, currently running in 6th spot as...
Well, coming into the pit lane now, that was Jim Pfeiffer in the 00 Ferrari. And looks as though he may be, I assume he's taking on fuel here at the start of lap 19. We do think that the pit window for GT3 opens up right at about lap 13, Larry. It probably goes to lap 23 as we now see Ben Rose make his way out of the pits. He's gotten the repairs that he thinks he needs to make it to the end of the race, and he is going to rejoin, but rejoining about 4 laps down from the rest of the GTP field.
Yeah, at this point, it's you get the seat time, or maybe you get a little luck and somebody else drops out, you pick up a spot or two. But we'll keep our eyes on that, as Jim Pfeiffer was, Jimbo, one of the first ones in the GT3s to come in for what appeared to be a scheduled stop, and should be able to make it. Just about 40 minutes to go in this, just about the halfway point of our 75-minute race tonight. See here is Pfeiffer going through the first Lesmo, and he's got one of those GTPs right behind him. Sorry, the LMP2s, I should say, right behind him. That's Chris Hampton. Coming in 6th, I believe, in the LMP2s.
All right, Larry, and as suspected, we are seeing a good portion of the LMP2 field come down the pit lane. We've got Lehman, we've got Dorsey, West, and Strikers now. There's the conga line on the pit lane, as they are, well, just about, well, we thought they'd be able to make it maybe another lap or so, but as we suspected, maybe lap 22, which means they may have to come in for a small splash of gas or do a lot of fuel savings on their final stint.
Yeah, notice we also have Jennifer McDonald, who's in there now. Has been in for about 40 seconds. We'll keep an eye on her, as she was running up in the top 5 of the GT3 field. So Strikers is out. Lehman, Dorsey, and Strikers all having finished their pit stop here.
All right, well, let's do this, Larry. I know we are probably getting to the point where a lot of our racers are going to be coming in for their pit stops, but let's take our break. We're right just a little bit past the top of the hour. Thanks to our partners and sponsors. And when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here at Monza, the Temple of Speed, where you're watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org.
And welcome back to the Temple of Speed to Monza, everybody. It is round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, yeah, as we kind of, well, we've got almost the entire GTP field has come down the pit lane. We saw almost everybody in LMP2 hit the pit lane. And, well, now in GT3, it's Mike Dam. It's Leo Dragotta, it's Keith Stein, Dan Carrillo. They're all coming down the pit lane. And the one driver to stay out, and this doesn't surprise me after we had our initial round at Sebring, Taj Edwards is still, he seems to, you know, I always thought that Schwenke was like the fuel-saving king of Orion Racing, but I've changed my mind, and I think that's Taj Edwards.
I think so as well. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on how many more laps he can stay out there. But I'm also seeing Ilya Speaker and Filippo Barberi both also stayed out there. I do want to mention, though, that we were watching earlier the battle between Travis Schwenke and Jennifer McDonald. That apparently ended in tears, as both of them have been in the pits for about 5 minutes, and they are reviewing post-race an incident between them. So that may have taken both of them out, and certainly in the case of Travis, talked about how we needed a good finish. Tonight's not going to be the one. If
not
Jennifer,
this
is going to be her first really bad finish here so far this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, all right, let's take a look, Larry. I think we can bring this up and we'll see exactly what happened. There's Travis Schwenke. There's a lot of dust and
I wonder if it was before this, actually, because he's already lost. Yeah, he looks like he's already got some handling issues at that point.
Yep.
Probably a handful of corners just before that, but we'll check that again in a bit as we got.
All right, we'll take a look here. Well, no, you see, there's McDonald.
Yeah, that's what it was. So McDonald may have had to run wide, and Travis tried to avoid her, and there's the contact.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. It was such a strong race for her, and you know, and as we said, Larry, they were running 3rd and 4th in the championship tonight. Yep. So,
all right, Ilya Speaker in the pits.
And yep, there we go. Edwards and Speaker. We'll see where they come out in relation to Mike Dam and Leo Dragotta, but it appears, Larry, as Chris Thorman may have leapfrogged Leo Dragotta as well. Both he and the three, Dam, Thorman, and Dragotta, all having their pit stops. Dan Carrillo there as well. Let's see where they are in relation to The folks just now coming out of the pits. Edwards on track, and Edwards will retain the lead ahead of Mike Dam.
Yeah, quite a bit as well. He's going to be a couple seconds up, it looks like, on Mike Dam, but in the same positions as they were before they went into the pits. Baker looks like he's going to rejoin. Looks like in third. So good job there. But look at Chris Thorman right there next to him. Thorman's actually going to get that third place spot, and look at who's behind him. That's Leo Dragoda. So the battle for third is going to be a hot one here between a couple of McLarens and the Acura. And a Ferrari, I should say. It's a Ferrari and Acura for the McLaren. What else if you're Team Invictus? Of course you'd be in a Ferrari.
Of course you would. And Larry, no, we haven't given him much airtime tonight. Maybe we can jump over to Tanner Dibble, who is our overall leader right now. He's got about 3 seconds on Bailey Petrowski, but I wanted to bring this up and mention it because there is Tanner with the distinctive headlight arrangement of the Porsche 963. Because we said that almost every one of the GTP chassis took a balance of performance adjustment of some sort this week. Well, we had the BMW and the Ferrari. The Cadillac did not get an adjustment, but it was in order to make the Porsche possibly a little bit more competitive than it had in rounds past. And well, there you go. The only Porsche in the field, currently your leader in GTP.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sometimes those things are, sometimes they aren't related. Sometimes Dibble just has a good night, and so far he's had a really good run in that Porsche, and he was just waiting for his evening, and I think so far this has been his. He still has to finish this out. Still another 28 minutes to go, and it's going to be a long 28 minutes if you're Tanner Dibble.
It could very well be.
Well, anytime you've got Bailey Petrowski behind you, you've got to be concerned. You got to keep one eye on that relative screen because Bailey, as he's been proving, is one of the quickest in anything he's been driving. We've seen him in GT3s, we've seen him in these newer GTPs, we've seen him in just about anything. Always fast.
Well, of course, Petrowski was our season 10 GTP champion. Dibble was our season 9 GTP champion. And Dibble's been racing the Porsche consistently since we saw the introduction of GTP here in the World Challenge. And yeah, you mentioned Petrowski. He's put in time on the GTP side last season. Was running in GT3, where he took the GT3 championship in a McLaren. Yeah. And and now of course back in the GTP cars, but in a Ferrari as opposed to the Acura that he had been running previously.
But to Tanner Dibble's credit, he was the season 9 champion in GTP, so it's not like not like he is new to this position. As wow, no. Look at that there, a little spin there. I didn't catch who that was. If that was Barbieri that had an issue. Bradburn Shooter's able to get on by in the Corvette, but Barbieri nearly had a bad return to track there. Good save.
So that had to be Barbieri because he and Wedderburn share a livery. And
yep, that's it.
Wedderburn is not on track.
Yeah, so luckily for everyone, Barbieri able to get things back in order. He's got a Hartley not too far behind him. See how deep these fields are. When Robert Hartley's running down in 9th, you've got a very deep field.
Well, again, and Hartley now with the pit cycles has made up a number of positions there. Larry is, we checked in on him earlier, and he was sitting back, I believe, in 16th position. So now 7 positions to the good. That said, Neil Weston. 12 positions made up so far. Stephen May, 15 positions.
Yeah, May having a really strong movement here tonight in that McLaren. So as we check on this battle, there's Petrowski, this time under fire from Jordan Butler. Should be. Sorry, it's Petrowski putting the pressure on Dibble. We were just talking a minute ago. I thought for a second there that was Butler. That is Tanner Dibble, your race leader. We were saying anytime you got Petrowski behind you, you got to keep an eye on him. Well, your eyes are going to be bug-eyed at this point because Petrowski's right there.
Yeah, he's made up 2.5 seconds in the last, 3 minutes?
Yeah. That's huge closing speed as they go through traffic continually, it seems. But look at them now as Dibble trying to get around the car before you get to the next corner, and he does. Petrowski, though, just a couple car lengths back as they go through the second Lesmos onto this down and up the hill underneath the overpass, underneath the old bank track.
Bank track, yeah.
Yep. Hoping the GT3s stay right, and they do. Does that look like the Porsches there? They just went roaring on by.
Let's go through the Ascari chicane.
Nothing but a whole mess of GT3s in front of you, and if you're Tanner Dibble, you're thinking, I got to find a way through these and use them to my advantage to keep Petrowski behind me. Petrowski's been fast since the fuel break. He's in the draft. You can see with the 610s back, these cars definitely have some draft. Even at 190 miles an hour, they push a lot of wind out of the way.
Yes, they do. So that last time by, Dibble ended up making back about 4/10. And as they go into the chicane and get around one of the Orion Acuras, it looks like they lost it.
Yeah.
He lost it again.
That was Travis Schwenke this went around, which is good. Travis rejoining after a long pit break to repair the car. There's another Orion car. I think that might have been, yeah, that's the number 3 of Rob Hartley. That they just get on by. We talked about him a minute ago, running up there at 9th in the field. But this battle of these GTPs for the lead continues to go. And it's just back and forth right now between them. Who's got the advantage corner to corner?
All right, as we check in now with Caleb Lehman, who is our LMP2 leader, currently with Carson Cushman running in second, about 2 seconds,
yeah,
21 seconds back.
That's closed up. Remember, at one point, it was about 7 seconds that Caleb had on the field, including Cushman and Anderson. Cushman has really closed in the last couple laps now. Lehman's lead just less than 2 seconds. I wonder if he's doing fuel saving, or we talked about the fuel load concerns. I wonder if that's what Caleb Lehman's doing now.
Yeah, and should mention, Larry, this is Cushman's very first round here this season. He's joining now here in round number 4. And welcome to the Extreme Motorsports family in the Ricmotech World Series.
Good night to join here, right in the middle of a points battle mid-season. So he's going to try and steal some points away from Caleb Lehman. Lehman able to get out of the Ascari here, chicane there, and down this short back straight. But this battle, I think, is going to go on for the next 20-25 minutes as we get close to winding this thing out. Look at this, having to run wide.
Oh my gosh.
To get around the GT3s. Do what you got to do.
Well, that's how they drive in Massachusetts, right?
He just doesn't get himself an off track for that. He's just fine. 1.6 seconds between them, 1.9 between our leaders in GTP, 4 seconds between the teammates Todd Edwards and Mike Dam in GT3 Pro. Every battle not quite resolved yet. 22 minutes left on the clock. And if you hadn't heard, in 2 weeks, when we make our next round, our next stop here in the World Challenge, it's going to be a Le Mans. It's going to be 90 minutes in the wet. I don't know if it'll be all of it in the wet, but it will be 90 minutes and there'll be wet involved. And it's going to be entertaining. If nothing else, I highly suggest you tune in 2 weeks for that one on Monday night again, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, I'm absolutely waiting, Larry. I'd love to see some good pit stops, maybe changing of tire compounds, and see how they do. But before we've got our World Challenge race at Le Mans in 2 weeks, next week, Larry, we are heading to Southern California. We're going to head to the streets of Long Beach for dual 35-minute races in the Ricmotech Mini Mite Sports Car Challenge for our GT4 and LMP3 racers.
So glad we're not doing pit stops at that track, because it is the worst pit lane in all of motorsports. So glad we're not doing it.
As we basically tried to get the car into that little mail slot of a mail slot of the Jersey barrier
and the 1.5 long lane exit at pit speed limit, and then the merging point. It's terrible. So glad. Perfect night for 35-minute sprints. The exact opposite of the track layout that we would have used last week. So this should be a lot of fun. That's next week, 8-10 Monday night here on Apex TV. So it's always something good here on Monday nights. Don't miss us. So Dragoda gets around Chris Thorman. So now it is a 1-2-3 current running order in GT3 Pro, but Thorman's not going anywhere.
No.
The Ferrari wants revenge.
Let's see if Thorman picks a little bit too far back going into the second chicane. Actually, that's through Ascari, pardon me.
It's a decent run here, but I suspect he might just sit back and play the game here a little bit. He knows that young Leo is pretty fast, but not a lot of mistakes. But of course, they are going to have LMP2s and GTPs coming through. But look at this. This is for the lead. Billy Petrowski is ahead of the stripe, by the way, as they go down to the braking zone. Dibble's on the outside. He's going to have to concede, or does he? No, he doesn't. Look at this side by side, and a better exit for Dibble, and he gets power down the Porsche. Petrowski, the Ferrari, is going to have to slide in behind as he caught a little bit of gravel on the exit. Ooh, let's give me more of that. 20 minutes of that would be great.
Yeah, I could go for that lap after lap. Larry, I thought Dibble had actually put the inside rear wheel on top of the curbing and might have had a bit of a challenge on exit, but he got the power down pretty darn well. And as you saw there, Petrowski ran wide and lost the ground. But given Petrowski's pace after that pit stop, this is going to be, I think this is something that we're going to be watching for probably the next 20 laps or so.
Yeah, and I suspect, as we see a lot, Petrowski is normally pretty calm through traffic, but he's efficient through traffic. Dibble maybe will be aggressive. We'll see if those personality traits play out through the next time they get into a group of GT3s. But as we've seen, Dibble not going to concede. We saw him hold his line through that first chicane that time through. Can he do it for another, let's say 15 times around or whatever it's going to be?
Where it looks like Robert Hartley heading down the pit lane for his second time this evening. Don't know if that's because he didn't pick up the fuel that he needed, or maybe
been in there a little
maybe
while.
Another reason.
He's been in there almost a minute, so there may be something else going on there for Mr. Hartley. That ninth place running position looks like a long time ago at this point.
All right, let's jump back a little bit further up the field. Stacy Bertrand and it's like Bertrand and Stephen May. Bertrand in the Rockefeller Ford Mustang, Stephen May in the McLaren just ahead. And John, is that? I don't think that's John Casey.
It looks like the stewards were reviewing an incident between Rob Hartley, who we saw in the pits, and the other car involved, I believe, was Caleb Lehman, the 819, who is still leading the race. But
and Larry, that has been adjudicated. Caleb Lehman has just been assigned a drive-through penalty for contact with Robert Hartley. So our leader in LMP2 is gonna be taken out of commission here for a short period of time. We'll make a run down the pit lane. That should put newcomer Carson Cushman up into the lead of LMP2.
Yeah, that's a huge change in this race. Lehman had been running so clean, so fast all night long. Now he's barely got a lead at all. Part of that could be the incident that was there with Hartley, but Lehman's gonna have to come through pit lane. Not a short pit lane, so that drive-through is probably going to cost him a good 20 seconds, maybe even 30 seconds. Cushman, Anderson, and maybe Dorsey, possibly even Kyle Strikers could get by. We'll have to see how that plays out if he comes through the next time down the front straight.
All right, and we've got just about 15 minutes remaining in this 75-minute race, where Bailey Petrowski is currently your GTP leader, Caleb Lehman for the moment, and there he is coming down the pit lane. So now Carson Cushman, your new leader in LMP2, and in GT3, Taj Edwards, your leader.
Keep an eye on Lehman, see how many positions does he lose. Will he come out closer to Avon Dorsey, who's currently in 4th, or will he even drop back further and be behind the Kyle Strikers? Let's wait and see. He's through. Where is Avon Dorsey? He's pretty far back.
He's got about 15 seconds on Dorsey right now, I think, Larry.
May have only lost maybe about 18 seconds or so from where he was, so may have lucked out there. Currently 3rd for him. Avon Dorsey's going to remain in the 4th spot. It's about 6 seconds or so back from Caleb Lehman in 3rd.
And there is Avon Dorsey as he's trying to make his way through the GTP traffic. Or probably GT3 traffic.
I wonder if we can get another shot of Petrowski and Dibble battling it out for the overall lead. They're still pretty much nose to tail.
There they go. And Larry, there it is. Bailey Petrowski, your new leader, is Tanner Dibble not able to hold him off for 20 laps or even 2 laps there.
Nope, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Look at this. As they go side by side, that second chicane. I didn't see who that was kind enough to let them by. One of the Ferraris there.
I think that was it one of the Ferraris or was it a McLaren? It was either Ilya Speaker or I think that might have been Speaker in his McLaren.
Was it Jimbo Pfeiffer? It might have been Jimbo Pfeiffer in his Ferrari.
Okay.
Yeah, they also just went past Neil Weston in the Porsche there, the number 6. So that would check out. But either way, this is a battle that they're not willing to concede anything. And they are coming through hot. There's Jeff Jacobs, the next one that they're going to go below and past. The best sound, of course, belonging to that Mustang.
That's right. And the big orange Mustang. All right, let's take a look at here as we had probably not Caleb Lehman, as we had Tanner Dibble and Bailey Petrowski making the run down the front straight towards the first chicane. That is Petrowski on the right, and your now former leader, Tanner Dibble.
This time Petrowski had enough to hold that. Didn't have to worry about Dibble holding the inside. Was able to squeeze on by. All that setup with a better run out of Parabolica. Then Dibble was able to get, but look at this now as we go back to live. Petrowski caught a little bit of gravel coming out of that first chicane this time through. Going around one of the Mustangs. Now he's going around a couple of the LMP2s. Let's see what he does now. He's got to follow a GT3 McLaren. So that might be Barbieri.
Barbieri.
Having to get around. But there he is. Tanner Dibble now locked behind an LMP2 and as well as Barbieri. So he's got to be patient through some of this stuff. Lost a lot of ground to Petrowski. Now he's 2.5 seconds back. Just like that. That was all in a matter of just half a lap. And some of that's luck, some of that's skill. That looked like a lot of luck. Bailey hit that crowd just right. Tanner unfortunately got stuck.
Yeah, and Larry, and as he makes his way through the Ascari chicane there, take a look. Jordan Butler in the 72 Acura. He started to creep into that shot just a little bit. He's only now, about another 1.5 seconds back from Tanner Dibble.
We've been watching the Petrowski and Dibble battle. We completely forgot to look at Jordan Butler. Now in this mix, about 1.5 seconds behind the DNA team here. Maybe having a heads-up battle in a second if Tanner has any more troubles. So 1.5 seconds separating them. Petrowski now really a good 2 seconds up there in front of Dibble. But look at Butler really on the move here late in the race.
Yeah, and it's amazing what Larry, what a couple battles side by side will do for you. That last lap, Jordan Butler was almost 3 seconds faster, and of course what traffic will do for you. But Butler was almost 3 seconds faster than Tanner Dibble ahead, so and about 2.5 seconds faster than Petrowski. So he came out of nowhere and came quick.
Yeah, well, we'll have to keep our eyes on him now with but 11 minutes left in this thing. Can the three-way battle get a little even tighter as we check in on some of the other battles? There's Aaron Beaver alongside John Sterling from the Eagle Beaver. No relation.
No, of course not. And
they've got a Dave Manetto Yeah.
right there as well.
Look at this. It's Beaver on Beaver action here going to the first chicane, and it's going to be Aaron Beaver coming out in front of the Eagle Beaver to take that spot.
Believe me, everybody, it's funnier when you can see the paint. As one of the beavers just had his feathers pulled going through the chicane.
Yeah, Aaron this time saying there is only room for one, and Aaron now going to have to hold off the Eagle Beaver behind
It's like
him.
a
It's
Highlander
Sterling.
reference almost. There's going to be only one.
Exactly, and I can say that. I got the name for it.
Yes,
But
you
Sterling
do. Me not
getting
so
the
much.
runs here. He's trying to make some moves here to try and take that position. This is the battle for 5th in the GTPs. Moneto now with just a little bit of daylight as the Eagle Beaver and the Aaron Beaver behind him are battling. We waited all season for this, and here it is.
It's finally here.
Coming up on one of the Rockefeller Corvettes there. Oh,
Yeah, and probably the best place he could have gotten out of the way, Larry, because it was all paved on the outside of the track there. They were coming through the Parabolica.
yeah, but whoever the driver was got out of the way very quickly as this is going to go again, as it looks like this time Sterling's going to make the move to the inside. You have to back out of it.
Oh,
Just
big
about
brake
locks
lock
it
up,
up there.
too.
Yeah. To avoid the contact. This is fun. This is really good racing here between these two.
And I think it was Adam Ballard that we saw drive off a
Makes
little,
sense.
little earlier, yeah.
And they're going to come up on a battle of the LMP2s going on just in front of them. Not sure who that was. But it's not far until we see them.
I'm so pleased to have John Grabowski in the chat tonight. that if we're going to have some beaver on beaver aggression here as we're still watching, it could only be complete with Mike Dam part of the action.
That's very true. But I'm sure the beavers will come up on a dam here shortly.
As they fight over a dam, yes.
All right, so look at the run here, though. It looks like Sterling's going to get a good run. We're going to flash real quick to race leader as well, but look at this now, side by side as they're going through traffic down the front straightaway. Sterling on the inside, Aaron Beaver on the outside. Sterling, we saw earlier, hit a brake lock up when he was behind Aaron Beaver going into turn 1. Can he do this and brake cleanly into 1? They're side by side, but he's got the nose ahead.
Yeah, he does. And directly behind Larry, one of our GTP racers.
It's like Josh Chinsky, they just went around.
Yeah. Was that Chinsky, one of our
It
LPs?
was, yeah, the 18.
Okay.
Just
And
got
so,
himself up into 6th spot. Hasn't been able to go much further.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yep, there he is.
Again, he was the points leader, had an opening lap issue that sent him back, and unfortunately hasn't been able to fully recover. Currently in 7th.
I mean, it's still a pretty impressive recovery, Larry, because he was a full lap down from most of the LMP2 field and had to work his way through all the GT3 traffic in order to make up a lap. But yeah, I'm sure not exactly how he wanted tonight to finish up. But shouldn't hurt his championship ambitions that much, since this would, assuming this will be his one drop of the season.
Some more battles going on. There's John Casey. Frito Sport entries right behind Stephen May. May in the McLaren, Casey in the Corvette. And about the Parabolica here with just about 6 minutes to go. So this is getting down to crunch time now. 6 minutes. What are we talking? Maybe 3-4 laps, something like that.
Yeah, indeed.
5 laps in a GTP.
And so, Larry, in LMP2, Carson Cushman, again, in his first night in there, he is on just to the left of these two GT3 racers. Cushman now with almost a 13-second advantage on the rest of the LMP2 field. And as we do have only 6 or 5.5 minutes remaining, the question is he's been pushing that car and he just reset his personal best fast lap. Is he or any of our other LMP2 racers going to need a little splash of fuel to get to the end?
We'll keep our eyes on that, but I also want to keep our eyes on that battle for second, as Trevor Anderson has only got about 2 seconds or so on Caleb Lehman. We saw Caleb come in and serve that drive-through penalty, so we'll keep an eye on that. There is Trevor Anderson in that number 98, being chased by the 819 there of Caleb Lehman. So that now to under 3 seconds between them. Again, with 5 minutes to go, anything's possible, especially with all this traffic. Caleb would love to get a few more points and get a second place out of this one. Also worth noting is that Jordan Butler just set fastest lap of the race in his pursuit of teammate Tanner Dibble, who's in his pursuit of Bailey Petrowski. Those three are all of about 3 seconds separating the three of them in GTP with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, Butler a half second faster than either Dibble or Petrowski that last time by. Yeah. Unfortunately for Dibble, he was only 4/100ths of a second faster than Petrowski at that on that last lap. Not going to be making up a lot of ground here with what should be again with now about 4 minutes remaining, probably 3 more laps.
All right, so about 2.5 seconds now between Trevor Anderson, who we're watching here, and Caleb Lehman chasing him down. Butler's last lap flashing back to GTP. Not as good the last time around, probably hit some traffic there. Dibble, though, chipping away a little Petrowski. He got almost a second out of Petrowski's lead, so that now is down to under 2 seconds between the two leaders in GTP and the 2 points leaders in GTP for the season. So let's keep our eyes on that battle. And just to check in with GT3, Taj Edwards continues to lead Mike Dam. Taj just been very consistent.
There are the 2 Acuras right there. The black Acura, that is Taj Edwards. The orange and black behind, that is Mike Dam.
A little bit now, just a couple seconds here, 2 seconds between them. It was up about 5, I think, at the end of the pits exchange. Leo Jagoda has locked in 3rd place for the time being now with 3 minutes now to go. It's a 1-2-3 currently running for Ryan. There's your 4th place of Chris Thorman from this Temerario Corsa. I just like saying it at this point.
Well, Bobby Child said you say it so well, Larry. So, you know, as many times as you'd like, I'm good with it.
We won't use the description that Bobby has for that accent.
No.
I'll just try and speak it like the natives of Italy might do. All right, so let's look at this. There is your race lead. Billy Petrowski,
wow.
Tanner Dibble.
He's
this
gotten
time
back
again,
up into it.
Another 6/10 out of the lead is Tanner Dibble now with just over a second back. Probably 2 laps to go.
That's right. 2 minutes left on the clock, Larry. Or a little bit under 2 minutes, so it should be this lap and 1 more. They should be getting the white flag next time by.
Look at that, throwing that big GTP car through that second chicane.
Wow.
Tanner Dibble, he wants this win. He knows it's just a little bit. If he can get a little bit of slowdown like this, look at Petrowski ahead, forced to wait for the Corvette, and he does. And look at this, we're going to have these 2 nose to tail going into the Ascari chicane at the end of this straightaway. And then a 1-lap battle for the win in GTP. Couldn't get any better. Dibble licking his chops at the thought of Petrowski getting held up by a GT3.
And they've got a few more. I'm trying to see up ahead if that's another GT.
It is a GT3 and an LMP2.
Yeah.
And then they'll see a white flag just around the next Parabolica bend. It's a little better entry there for Petrowski than Dibble, but not too bad. Parabolica, the increasing radius, fine to take the entry that way. And this will be a white flag, should be in the air. Italian Barney's out there somewhere.
I'm going to take our word for it that he was throwing it somewhere, Larry. he might have been having another espresso.
He might have been. Yeah. All right, so here we go, and right in front of them is Ryan Ricmotech. Well, that's interesting. Another one of the DNA entries with his teammate Tanner Dibble needing potentially some help. I don't want to say that we've got any
No.
sort of shenanigans on like the BMW team
Reese been running
at
a lap
Daytona.
down in 7th.
But he's gonna make the corner, but he's not gonna make the corner.
Or he's not.
He needs to stay out of the way at this point.
Oh, don't take out your teammate.
And look at this. Looks like Petrowski gets a bit of congestion leaving the Lesmos right behind Chad Sebring, and they're going to go side by side into the Ascari chicane. Is Dibble going to make a move?
The Porsche's shown good straight line speed, but Larry, I think the Ferrari has shown more over the course of the
Look
race
at this.
we saw earlier.
Much better run for the Porsche of Dibble coming out of the chicane. Dibble now going to try to use some draft. Look at the defensive line for Petrowski going up into Parabolica. Oh, there's going to be a GT3 car in the way. This could make things interesting. 1 corner to go.
And they both get underneath that Ferrari and onto the front straight, Larry. And as they come to the line, taking the win here in round number 4, it is going to be Bailey Petrowski for Invictus, winning by 18/100ths of a second over DNA Motorsports' Tanner Dibble. Jordan Butler will come home in 3rd. Dave Menino rounds the corner. He should finish just off the podium in 4th. And there, Larry, in his first time out in the Ricmotech World Challenge, taking a win here in LMP2, Carson Cushman out of Massachusetts. Congratulations to Carson with that win. Trevor Anderson should finish in 2nd as he comes across the line, and then finishing in 3rd, Avon Dorsey.
Interesting that Dorsey's going to take that spot. We saw Caleb Lehman running up there not too far back, but it looks like that didn't work out for Lehman, as Dorsey's going to take that 3rd step on the podium.
And interestingly enough, Larry, Josh Chinsky checked out the session before the end. I think he may have run out of fuel, possibly. All right, and now coming into the Parabolica for the last time, Taj Edwards, who, Larry, did not start on pole, but he's been your leader since the end of lap number 1 and taking what I believe is his very first win of the season. Driving for Orion Racing in the number 42 Acura, it is Taj Edwards. Mike Dam coming out of the Parabolica. He will finish in 3rd for the 2nd round in a row. Your pole sitter, Mike Dam, not able to pull off the win. Leo Dragotta will finish 3rd for Orion. So it is still a 1-2-3 for the Acuras here, with Chris Thorman from Invictus finishing 4th in his Ferrari.
Yeah, heck of a night again for Orion, but it's certainly a little more level playing field, it seems. Good night for Taj Edwards to pick up that win and break the streak of his teammate who wasn't here tonight. But really, the story tonight is that battle of Petrowski and Dibble to fight it out right to the end. I'm telling you, we're at the halfway point of the season, and it's going to be like this every week. Don't miss these Monday nights. But and then, of course, for Cushman, maiden voyage here tonight in the series, gets the win.
All right, well, let's do this, Larry. Let's thank some of our partners, pay some bills, and we'll take a little break and talk to some of our race winners here tonight at Monza, where you've just seen round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Hundreds of name brand parts. Expert support. Ricmotech has you covered. There's only one place to go. Ricmotech.com.
That's Petro-West. And welcome back, everybody, to the the National Park of Speed, to the Temple of Speed, Larry.
Italian Park of Speed.
It is Monza. I've got SCCA runoffs in 2026 on my mind, and this is round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, and waiting for a couple of our race winners to pop into the green room here. But Josh, if we can bring up that finishing order again, and we'll take a look and recap everything for everybody here. We can tell you, taking the win. Taking the win in GT3 Pro for Orion Racing, it was Taj Edwards, his teammate Mike Dam finishing second, and their teammate Leo Dragota finishing in third, with Chris Thorman for Invictus finishing just off the podium in fourth position. If we move over to LMP2, where we had Carson Cushman taking the win over Trevor Anderson, and look at that, Larry, 13 seconds. What a dominating race there. Avon Dorsey finishing in third, and in GTP taking the win, Bailey Petrowski for Invictus, margin of victory 18/100ths of a second over Tanner Dibble. Jordan Butler only 3 seconds back from there. Dave Meneno finishing just off the podium in fourth. All right, have I gone and have I vamped enough there? I have, Larry, because we have in the green room right now, he's made his way over from the YouTube chat. Let's welcome to the booth here, driver the number 115 Invictus Ferrari, your GTP winner tonight, Bailey Petrowski.
All right, from Invictus Temerario Corsa, you got to say with the full name, Bailey Petrowski getting the win here in Bailey. That was some of the most exciting racing we have seen in a while. The battle between you and Tanner just never ended. We did not want the checker to come out. I'm sure you're glad it did, but boy, you had to be sweating through that one.
Oh, absolutely. That was a scary finish. I was so happy once I caught traffic and was able to pass him, but I got a big gap and then it was very quickly disappearing. So I was hoping it wouldn't be that close, but it was a great fight. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, just a crazy wild night, from the way the opening went. Things got shuffled around. Tanner had started thinking maybe he's going to pull away. Suddenly you're on his tail, but you guys swapped the leads a few times. The side-by-sides through the opening chicane, I mean, that's a lot of trust between you and Tanner to be able to pull that stuff off for the lead.
Oh, absolutely. And I've driven with him so much at this point that we do have a lot of trust in each other. We know the other one's not going to do something completely insane. We're definitely going to fight, give it our all, but we are going to try and make sure we keep it on the track because we both want to finish the race.
Yeah, it was great stuff to watch. I loved every minute of it, and really cool. This is just so exciting. The two of you trading wins, trading points. It's going to be one of those kind of seasons, we saw tonight, of course, that Ben Rose had some issues, and, he had a rough finish, but it seems like the wealth is getting spread around. There are about 4 of you now that are covering the wins columns. Everybody's having their night. Tonight was yours, but you think this is just the way the season's going to go? You got to scrap for every point?
Yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like. I think it's pretty poetic that I finally got the first win in the Ferrari at Monza of all places, especially once now under the new team name as well. So it's definitely going to be a scrap. I think the Ferrari is good on these tracks where get a lot of open air, away from traffic, and good straight line speed tracks. So I'm hoping next race at Le Mans will be suiting for the Ferraris, and we'll see how that goes. That could be very interesting. But I think it's gonna be an exciting season with how it's going. It's very up in the air right now.
Yeah, it is. And we're excited about that. There's at least 4 or 5 either now that are in this mix, having the win spread around. So super exciting for us, exciting for you guys. Congrats on getting the win, as you say, for the first time with a Ferrari, getting the win in the win column here at Monza, in fact, for the Invictus Temerario Corsa team. And but so congrats on that. But I know that you've got teammates and friends and family you probably want to thank. You mentioned too.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want to thank all the sponsors to the series, such as.
Working on it, Greg. He's
Yep,
working on it.
yep. We're working on it. Such as Buck Kicker, Ricmotech, SDCA Foundation, you guys at Apex Racing. We're all making this happen. It's so much fun to take part of this over the last few years. So always enjoy making these races. Enjoy listening back to you guys broadcasting. I think you guys do a great job. Want to thank all the friends and family that watch and support me in the races, and definitely want to thank the team. Just in general, Bobby puts in a lot of work, and we put in a lot of time practicing with each other and trying to make sure all of us are up to speed. So, and it's always great hanging out with everyone. And then I want to thank my dad for always watching the races as well.
Well, awesome stuff. Congrats to you again, Bailey Petrowski, getting the win here at Monza for Invictus Temerario Corsa.
You guys have a good night.
All right, thanks so much, Bailey. All right, Larry, let's move over to GT3 and bring in our GT3 winner, driver the number 42 Orion Racing Acura NSX, Taj Edwards.
All right, Taj. They looks like they've tried to level the playing field a little bit in the balance of performance, but it was no challenge. Looks like you're able to still, with that Acura, take that win tonight. Well driven to hold off teammates behind you. Congrats on that. But tell me a little bit from your side. How hard was this tonight with the traffic and the number of cars on this track?
First of all, thanks. The traffic wasn't too bad. There were a couple of instances where lost a lot of time because of a little bit of impatience, but overall it wasn't bad. It was better than most of the other rounds. I had a really good start, so I was able to jump Mike at the start, and he and Leo kind of got held up in a battle. At the start, I was able to pull a gap, and then I went into fuel save mode, tried to maintain the gap, and was able to go the extra lap. And after that, I just managed the fuel to the end, but it got pretty close a couple times due to traffic. Mike was able to get back close, so I had to manage that.
Yeah, he's a tough one to hold off, and you've got to almost be inch perfect through traffic to be able to maintain that pace, and you were able to tonight, which is it's great for you. I know that one of your teammates wasn't here tonight, but that really can't take away from the victory that you've earned. This is a tough track, it's a tough race to win, and even without that big hitter there, always competitors. Is this your first win here in the Ricmotech series?
Yeah, it's my first win in the series.
Oh, well, congrats for that. That is never easy to get wins around here. So definitely any win is a well-earned win. So congrats to you. But I wanted to say, do you want to give any special thanks or shout out to any of your teammates or friends or family tonight?
Just shout out to all the teammates, Orion race team. We really work well together, got prepared for the race, even though we got the BOP, so it's a testament to the team. And thanks to our sponsors, GRT, Huffy Bikes, and hopefully we'll see you at the next round.
Definitely looking forward to the next round. Taj Edwards getting the win here in GT3 from Orion Race Team. Congrats, Taj.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, Larry, so we've talked to our GTP winner. We've talked to a first-time winner, Taj Edwards in GT3, and taking a win in his Ricmotech World Challenge debut, driver of the number 10 Dallara, it is Carson Cushman. If I can grab him here. Hold on. There you go. There's Carson.
All right. Joining us here, Carson Cushman, from his first Monday night with us here in the series. Carson, you come away with victory. I got to ask, did you have any expectations that you'd have success in a night like this?
No, definitely not. And I just bought the track this week, so I was like, I didn't have any expectations.
Wow. It's a bigger story as anything. I thought everybody at this point had Monza, but first time for you here. You start to look down the order of who you're running against. You got guys like Caleb Lehman, of course, Josh Chinsky. Have you run against these guys before from the SOT Esport?
No, not at all. I did like a couple of practice sessions this week. I don't know if they were in there, but I watched them like the previous streams and saw like they were like a couple of the top guys. So I matched up to them, but it's kind of a shame that Josh crashed the first lap, and then Caleb had that penalty. It would have been a exciting finish, I think.
That's part of the deal, right? 75 minutes. You've got to keep it clean. You've got to go out there and be fast, and you got to be efficient. And you were able to do that tonight in a very busy field. 45 cars, I think, on track tonight. It's a kind of a wild way, but for you to come away with your first victory here, we just talked to Taj Edwards from GT3. It's his first victory, and he's been running this now for a couple of seasons with us. You come out here tonight and get your first one. So does this put pressure on you to try and come back and do this again in 2 weeks? Try and get a second one right away?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's the goal, right? So
Yep.
We'll see what happens, but I'm not expecting it to happen every week, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those, you keep your hopes up, but you keep your expectations in check. But tonight you showed a lot of promise here, getting that victory, while the other guys may have had troubles, but that is part of the game, is staying out of trouble, and you managed to do that very well tonight and to take this victory for you. From the Purple Sector Motorsports, but I know that you probably want to thank a few people or some friends and family who might be watching.
Yeah, I'll just thank my team. We kind of rushed to get the paint in. I don't know if it ever made it to the stream or not, but
We had some issues with paints tonight. Not your fault. Maybe somewhere on the other end. We're going to look into that. Make sure the next time out that we'll have the paints working.
Oh well. But just thanks to Bobby helping me with that. So. That's about it.
All right. Well, congrats again, Carson Cushman. Your maiden voyage here in the series, coming away victorious from Purple Sector Motorsports. Congrats.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks so much to Carson, and congratulations, young man. All right, or who knows, maybe he's not a young man. All right, Larry, let's do this. Let's wrap things up. Yeah, certainly not as young as me. All right, let's take a look at what we got coming up over the next 2 weeks. So we've talked about them quite a bit already. Next week, Monday night, March 3rd at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time, it is round number 5 of the Mini Mite Sports Car Challenge. Twin 35-minute races at Long Beach for our GT4 and LMP3 racers. And then in 2 weeks, you heard it, bring on the rain. Do your rain dance. It is round 5 of the Ricmotech World Challenge. We're going to be at Le Mans for one of our 2 90-minute endurance races. And then in 3 weeks, I mean, where else would a league named Mini Mite go but the Bull Ring to Lime Rock as Monday night, March 17th, 60 minutes around 1.1 miles of Lime Rock, or is it 1.1 or 1.7? But a very small little bull ring, a lot of right-hand turns. That's all you need to know as the Mini Mite Sports Car Challenge goes to Lime Rock for round number 6. All right, so wrapping things up here, Larry, thank you for joining us, of course, tonight and sitting in with me. And thank you so much to Josh Wilkie filling in for John Grabowski here this week. I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you next Monday night, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great week, everybody.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad.